What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with PPL Division 2 Season 4. This is week 4. This week we are going up against Richie and his Livwurmple FC. Now, I've known Richie for quite a long time now. It's been about 2 years now that we've known each other. Praise Arceus, praise Wolfdick, whatever it is. Yeah, we are going up against Richie, and he has a team, and I have a team. Now, his team's pretty good. I gotta give it to him. It's a pretty good team, pretty well drafted. And, let's go ahead and talk about what he has. Actually, before we do that, I made one final transfer on the season. And it's a big one. I had 1 point remaining, and I have 1 transfer remaining on the season. I was very comfortable with the first 10 mons on my team, and I had an 11th spot open. So I decided, now this is a very controversial pick, I decided to pick up Salandit, the Lil Salazzle. And I heavily considered bringing it against Richie. Let's go ahead and talk about Richie's team, and you'll see how much work it does. Okay, so his team will be on the screen right now, and my team will be right next to it there. Okay, so as you can see, first 2 picks, Tapu Bulu Manaphy, just that together, very good core. I quite enjoy that. I don't enjoy going up against it. However, I enjoy the way that it looks on paper because they pretty much break for each other. There's those 2. And then he added some extra bulk with Registeel, which is good because of the grassy terrain. Means it really only has 2 weaknesses, which is fire and fighting, rather than adding on ground with the grassy terrain. He added in Goodra, which is like just a fucking annoying piece of shit. He got some hazard removal with Donphan, Rotom Heat, Togetic, Torn T, and Mismagius. So right off the bat, I was like, T-Spikes would be really good for Buglu, Manaphy, and Goodra, and Donphan. And then I looked at the rest of his team. Registeel, not affected. The last 4 mons, completely not affected because they either have Levitate or are a flying type. So, I immediately ruled out Toxic Spikes as an option. I can still bring Toxapex, but I didn't think it had the best of matchups. It was going to be good for Torn T, but I wasn't comfortable bringing a Toxapex when there is a Manaphy there, which becomes complete setup fodder. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the team here. And you can see the 6 that I am bringing. Unfortunately, like I said, no Salazzle this week. The only reason I didn't want to bring Salazzle, now Salazzle had a pretty good matchup. The set I was considering was Sub, Toxic, Protect, and Sludge Wave. Max HP, Max Speed Timid with Black Sludge. Now, that set, it kills Bulu without any offensive investment, and I can Toxic everything. However, Manaphy is a thing, and I don't want Manaphy to be a thing. And if I let Manaphy be a thing, then my team will no longer be a thing, if you get what I'm saying. So, decided, you know what, we're gonna scrap this Salandit. I wanted to build a team of 5, and then if I could comfortably do that and add in Salandit, I would. However, I can't, so I won't. So this instead is the team that I am now bringing, and I'm pretty comfortable with this. I started out with Scarf Victini. This is the same exact spread that I brought last week, except instead of having a choice band on it, it is now choice scarfed. There's no difference besides that. Same coverage, same EVs, same nature, everything. V-Create just completely runs through his team. Of course, he has a resist in Manaphy and Goodra, and Rotom Heat. However, none of those really want to take those. They're all 3 KO'd by it. and he won't really want to switch in anything besides Goodra to a V-Create, because it does get other coverage that hits the other two pretty hard. Like Manaphy, Bolt Strike, of course. Manaphy and Donphan both get hit by Energy Ball, which is a good possibility that I could bring that. Like Special Victini could be really good against him. I just decided I want to completely run through everything by clicking V-Create as soon as his fire resists are gone. Scarf allows me to outspeed the likes of a potential Scarf Blue, which I think has a good matchup against me. Manaphy, of course, I want to be able to hit it as hard as possible, which is why I'm adamant, and also outspeed it. So I got away with, unless he's like Scarf himself, or if he is Z Rain Dance, then that could be a problem. However, I do have other things on the team for Manaphy, as we will get to later. Registeel does not take V-Create. Goodra, I can U-turn on, or I can Zen Headbutt it, and I will do plenty of damage. Donphan, I have a free switch into Serena pretty much every time it comes in, especially if it wants to set up rocks and whatnot. Rotom, especially if I get rocks up, then it's not going to be A, a good switch in, and B, it won't be a switch in after a little bit of chip damage. So 2 V-Creates will be able to kill a Rotom. Togetic, again with rocks up, is not a switch in. Torn gets completely blown back, and same with Mismagius. So I just decided, you know what, Victini, you're going to be what it do, and then we're going to move on to our next Mon, which is Keldeo. And this is Keldeo. Now right here, this Keldeo has Dual Stab with Scald and Seaver Sword, and then the Tech Hidden Power Poison for Tapu Bulu. Outside of Tapu Bulu, the only thing that takes on Keldeo on his team are Spadef Togetic and AV Torn T. And because I am Life Orb and Scald has a chance to burn, the latter two are not really switch-ins. So I'm expecting Bulu to be more of a bulky build. And if it is, we will be able to see its leftovers, and I can potentially get a Scald burn on it early on. And, well, Bulu dies to Hidden Power Poison. I decided to run Life Orb on this Keldeo set as well, because it just did as much damage as possible. I didn't want to be choice locked with the possibility of Bulu being an issue. So that's going to be Keldeo. I decided Calm Mind because if I ever get a chance to set up a Calm Mind, say Torn T is already gone, I outspeed the rest of his team. And at +1, nothing is living. We can put it, that's to put it mildly. So, kind of expecting Scarf Bulu as well. So, we will see how I deal with that later on. However, it would be very obvious if it is Scarf Bulu, the way he plays it around my Keldeo, which will be easy to play around. And Keldeo is going to be just, you know, a powerhouse, a mad man on a mission. Seabiscuit. All right, that's all I got to say about Keldeo here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, moving on. I decided that rocks would be kind of an issue for this team, and I want to get rid of those. So I have a Serena. Serena is nice because his 2 rockers, Registeel and Donphan, I can come in on either of them. And I can just go ahead and go for Rapid Spin as he goes for Stealth Rock. And I beat them 1v1. Donphan doesn't take a Trop... Well, it can take a Trop Kick, but it won't take 2 of them. Because Serena is fucking bulky. Or not bulky, it's fucking strong is what I meant to say. Donphan, the best thing that it could go for, and it would be very memey, would be like weakness policy avalanche, but then again it won't be at +2 because Trop Kick will lower its attack, and instead it'll be at +1. I can Trop Kick again, get it back to neutral, and then I can synthesis right back up. So then Donphan just gets completely shut down by Serena. If it has Toxic, that's fine. I have Heal Bell on Blissey, as we are going to see later. Toxic Toxic is pretty important for his team. His switch-ins to Serena are plentiful, and they include Bulu, Registeel, Goodra, Rotom Heat, Togetic, Torn T. All of those, besides Registeel, are hit by Toxic. And if he has Registeel, it'll either be Toxic to deal with us, it'll be some sort of S-Toss set, maybe Ice Punch in order to freeze us, because, you know, that would be good. Besides that, Toxic hits all of those, and it'll really start to help with wearing his team down. Especially the likes of Goodra, which doesn't get good recovery. Manaphy, well, not Manaphy, you won't switch in a Manaphy to a Serena. Bulu, of course, it'll negate the grassy terrain recovery that he might be getting. I can also click it against Donphan and be okay with Donphan being toxic as long as it's getting worn down. And I have the Rapid Spin, so I can get rid of any sort of rocks that are in its face. Rotom Heat has a potential to be a switch into Serena. Getting that worn down with Hazards and Toxic would be very huge. Togetic, Toxicing that at any point is amazing. Torn, same thing. If I get that Toxic, it'll slowly, especially with Rocks Up, it'll slowly negate the regen that it gets back. So that'll be very important with wearing his team down and such. Again, not really much to say about Serena. I threw Max Fizdef on here. I was deciding maybe I could go more of a Spadef set to deal with Manaphy, but I felt like I had enough to deal with Manaphy on the team. So we are sticking with Fizdef to take on Scarf Bulu a little bit better. I can't really take on Banded Bulu because it gets Mega Horn. I can take 2 Adamant Choice Band Woodhammers with Serena. However, I don't want to switch in to a Bulu when I have Klefki in the back, which is a better answer to it. And I can use Serena for, like I said, the Registeel and the Donphan for his rockers, and I'll be okay. So that's going to be Serena. And we are going to move on to our bulky Aerodactyl. Now, looking at the first 3 that I had, I was like, you know what? Torn's kind of an issue. With this Aerodactyl, Torn T is no longer an issue, because this Aerodactyl, a max HP Aerodactyl, doesn't care what Torn wants to do to it. Torn can try, but it won't. And by that I mean, it can try to do damage, but it won't. So, Aerodactyl switches into Hurricanes, switches into knockoffs, especially with Rocky MZ. U-turn's doing nothing to me. And every time I come in with Aerodactyl and he clicks a move that isn't U-turn, I can get up my rocks. Or I can get up a Roost in order to stay healthy. I can go for Stone Edge, try and catch something on the switch-in. Stuff like that. So I decided rocks are going to be very nice just to wear down his team. Again, he doesn't have the greatest of reliable recovery on his team. So being able to wear down things like Rotom, Togetic, Torn, Goodra on the switch-in, Manaphy, Tapu Bulu, of course, because that'll help negate the grassy terrain, and if I can do that, I can start putting things in range to where everything just dies to Victini's V-Create. So that's going to be Aerodactyl this week. I have Rocky MZ on it because Continental Crush against his team is just really good. His rock resists are Registeel and Donphan, which I have a switch into Serena against every time, and besides that, Continental Crush just does a ton of damage to whatever wants to come in. So that's going to be Aerodactyl. Not really much to say. 188 speed, Jolly is enough for the Torn, of course. Max HP, and then the rest in attack. That's all I did. So that's going to be Aero. Next up, we have a Blissey. Now, I decided... Look, I know you're looking at this set right now, and you see something that's a little suspicious about this Blissey. Yes, it is a Calm Mind Blissey. Why is it a Calm Mind Blissey? Well, let me show you. Manaphy. If he is a Tailglow Manaphy, which I'm suspecting because anything other than Tailglow Manaphy is less than ideal against my team. Blissey against Tailglow Manaphy. I send in Blissey against Manaphy. If he predicts that, goes for Tailglow, he'll be at +3. The amount of damage he does with Surf is laughable, as it does 33 to 40% at +3 to Blissey. That's just max HP. As you can see, I only have 4 Spadef. At +6, if he goes for Tailglow again, I'm clicking Calm Mind against this Manaphy. At +6 to my +1 Spadef Blissey, Surf does 3 more % per hit. Instead of doing 33 to 40, it does 36 to 43. Which is not a 2-hit KO. And I can set up on that Manaphy. And outside of that, as soon as I get Blissey set up, there's not really much he can do about it. He has Tapu Bulu, of course, which would hurt. He has Gudra, which if it's physical, with like, say, Z Superpower, because it is one of his Z movers, could be an issue. However, if it is not, I can just click Soft Boiled on it, see what it wants to do, and then I can act accordingly. Donphan doesn't 2 a KO. It just doesn't. Rotom could trick me, which could be an issue, but if it tricks me, then Keldeo is more likely to beat it, because then it's no longer Scarfed. Same with Aerodactyl. And Togetic, I set up on that. And with Serene Grace Shadow Ball, I have a 40% chance to get Spadef drops, which is really nice against his team, especially against the likes of, well, anything but Registeel, pretty much. Spadef drops are really nice, especially even if he is Calm Mind Manaphy instead of Tailglow, because then I can get Spadef drops, do more damage to him than he will be doing to me over time, and he will not be able to really heal up with Rest and Rain Dance before I get enough Spadef drops to where he can no longer stay in. Torn can beat me if it has, again, Superpower, and even still, if I click Soft Boiled on a turn that he goes for Superpower, then Blissey is, like, it's fine. The only thing that can then be an issue would be Z Superpower, so All Out Pummeling from Torn. Potential things that get Taunt could be issues, like Mismagius, perhaps, but then again, I do have Shadow Ball, which will be hitting it super effectively. And this Blissey has the chance to just straight up sweep as long as Bulu is not around. So once Bulu is gone, I have the chance to win with Blissey. And Blissey here really helps with Manaphy, because outside of that, I felt like the rest of the team was doing amazing against the rest of his threats. So that's all I got to say about Blissey here. I could change it from Leftovers to what's the Choppleberry? That's, I can't believe I blanked on the Choppleberry. I could be Choppleberry on Blissey, however, Leftovers is just what I wanted. If he's giving me Grassy Terrain as well, it wouldn't be too bad, but like, you know, whatever. So that's going to be Blissey. Please bear in mind, Calm Mind Blissey, I do not advise anybody to really run Calm Mind Blissey, but it does look pretty good against this team in particular. It has the same special attack as Cresselia, which is nice. And one last thing before I move on to Klefki. I decided to be modest rather than bold, and that is because I can break a Manaphy substitute every time as soon as I get to +2. So say he's sub Tail Glow, he Tail Glows, I Calm Mind, he Tail Glows again, I Calm Mind. He goes for sub thinking he can live, Shadow Ball breaks it, and then he's in a very poor position. So that's going to be Blissey. Lastly, I needed something like really good to switch into Tapu Bulu, so I decided on this Klefki, which is going to be Rest Recycle with the Chesto Berry. And what's really nice about this Klefki is that because he is going to be, I think, Scarf Bulu. I think that is what is going to happen. I think he's going to be Scarf Bulu. I can take 2 Wood Hammers, I can take one on the switch in, I can set up a spike, then I can click Prankster Rest, pop my Chesto Berry, I can click Recycle, get my Chesto Berry back, click Rest again, and all he's doing is either killing himself with Wood Hammer, with how much damage he's doing to Klefki, or he's not doing enough damage with anything that isn't Wood Hammer. So, say Superpower, or obviously Mega Horn won't be doing anything. Horn Leech won't be doing enough, and I can set up all my layers of spikes on it if that is the case. And Klefki with the spikes is like really good because it wears down Registeel, wears down Downfan in case he wants to spin. I can punish it for spinning. Like I said previously, T-Spikes weren't very good against him. I felt like Spikes were more important because it wears down the Bulu. Getting up 3 layers would be huge for wearing down Manaphy. Getting up 3 layers of Spikes means that Bolt Strike from Victini kills any kind of Manaphy. Wearing down Registeel is great. Wearing down Goodra is great. All these things don't have reliable recovery. So the more that he can switch in, switch around to try and beat my bulk, the more he's going to be pressured, and the less he can really do to my team. So I am very happy with this team that I have built. My 2 offensive mons, Victini and Keldeo, pretty much get a kill every time they come in. And then the bulk on the back end, especially with my hazard stack, is going to be it's going to be very nice against this team. So that's going to be it. Let me know what you guys think of this team. And that will be all. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and I will see you guys next time.